gift of insight, like all Fifth Wind witches, although it didn't take a magical ability to guess what was going on when Tanner looked at me through those gorgeous hazel eyes. Clearly, no one had ever told him about playing hard to get, keeping his cards close to the vest. And that was one of the many things I liked about him. "You'll want to start with the crystals," he said, leading me past one glass case after another toward the back of the store. The place looked more like a high-end jewelry store than what I'd expected for a wand shop. It was clean, bright, with each model on a delicate stand under thick and, I assumed, enchanted glass. Brooms floated in midair around the edge of the showroom, bobbing gently like buoys, each one a slight variation of color, shape, and bristle from the next. Could I ride a broom? I was still so unclear on what was and wasn't within my witchy abilities. But more importantly, did I want to ride a broom? I was leaning toward no. I'd seen witches flying around town on those, and it looked so uncomfortable. Some rode side saddle, which looked silly and antiquated, while others straddled the broom, which, ouch, seemed like a quick way to get a UTI. "How do I decide which crystal to get in my wand?" I asked. "You can get a pretty good sense based on what kind of witch you are. Then from there, it's mostly feeling it out. Sometimes you have to take a few for a test drive. Ezra can also help. He's been doing this for years." I glanced back toward the counter where he stood chatting with Ruby. Couldn't be that long. He doesn't look a day older than I am. I think he's in his 70s, but he might be older." "Come again?" I said. "I thought he was a witch. Don't witches age?" If Ruby were any indication, they did. When I glanced at Tanner, a momentary panic swept over me. He was a witch, and he looked in his late 20s, a few years younger than me. But what if he was 300? What if I aged and he didn't? He did me the favor of squashing that fear, though. Most do. I'm not entirely sure why Ezra doesn't. Tanner leaned close, a conspiratorial half-grin drawing my attention to those soft lips framed by his day-old dirty blonde stubble. My guess is that he either performed some dark spell to keep him young, or being surrounded by so many powerful objects all the time has slowed the aging process. "I hope it's the first," I said. "That's a way better story." Something ignited in Tanner's eyes, and I knew what was about to happen. But not right here where anyone could see us, right? He already had a solution in mind, though, and yanked me after him, behind a wall leading toward the back that cut off the visibility from the counter and the front door. Then he pulled me into him, my body pressed against his, my hands on his warm, firm chest. And he kissed me. "Oh, for Fang's sake." My body tensed, and I cracked open my eyes, already certain of the judgment waiting for me in the form of a giant black hound with a small munchkin cat on his back. "Grim," I said, not bothering with telepathy. "Stop being a creep. If you don't like it, you and Monster can go entertain yourselves elsewhere." "Monster," Tanner said sharply. His familiar must have been making similar comments to Grimm's that I couldn't hear. "You know better." We shooed away our familiars, but the moment was somewhat lost. "I guess we should get back to shopping," he said. "It is why we're here." I sighed and dropped my hands from his body. I hate shopping. And I hated it even more when it interfered with the small bits of time outside of work that I could sneak with this beautiful West Wind witch. We approached Ruby and Ezra, who, if I didn't know any better, were flirting with each other. Ruby was giggling, color in her face as her fingertips glided back and forth over her collarbone where it peeked out from her dark, loose robes. Ezra winked at her before turning to face Tanner and me, still wearing a contagiously goofy grin. "Ruby tells me you're looking for a necromancer's wand."